Good morning. The word for you today. Today is Thursday, February 29th, and our devotion today is titled, You Need God's Help. Just as a reminder, this is the last day of this section of devotionals. Go pick up your other one at the church office. If you need to get one, just let us know. We are happy to get that to you. So today we're going to be reading out of the book of John, chapter 15, starting in verse 1. And this is the famous parable of the vine and the branches. And it says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. So we're going to stop right there. What this is this is a gardening metaphor. So that's pretty obvious. So why am I pointing it out? How many of you have read the book of Genesis? I hope there's a large show of hands there. I can't see since I'm talking to a camera, but Genesis is filled with gardening imagery. The most famous garden is the Garden of Eden. And part of that is that the very first chapter of Genesis is a gardening and agriculture story. Here's what I mean by that. The pun in the first chapter is that God, and the second chapter is that God makes man from the dust. And the pun is that it's Adam from Adamah. Literally, it is a pun on man sounds similar to the word for dust. Cool, that's pretty basic stuff. What does it mean? Well, it goes deeper later in the second chapter. It talks about how God makes man to work the land, to garden, to tend to the plants and the animals. So mankind has this unique property on earth that we are cultivators. We are growers. Our job on this earth is to create and sustain and nourish new life, not by the way that God does, but in the working of the land. So that's the central idea of humanity's work. That is the central idea that God ordains to us. And so Jesus, in this new call for commitment, for obedience, it's continuing that gardening metaphor and reasserting it. He's basically saying the thing that God made us for in the very beginning that we kind of messed up, I am saying that we need to keep on doing that. We need to keep that garden going. And how he does that is by using this vine metaphor. So we're going to skip down to verse number 4. And it says, Remain in me as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Jesus is saying that our work here on earth, if we're going to keep using this garden imagery, is like a vine growing along a garden wall. And that vine, whenever it's fruitful, whenever it's healthy, whenever it's bringing good things into the world, we nourish it, we keep it alive. But if that vine is causing damage to the house, if that vine is rotting, if that vine is diseased or broken, and it's not doing what it's supposed to, a good gardener prunes it. In the same way, whenever we are going through life, we have to be willing to trust that God is going to prune us, is going to raise us up, is going to nurture us in a way that brings us to more growth and more development. And also trust that if life seems like it's not really going the way it should, maybe it's just the way life is, or maybe it's God trying to tell us we shouldn't be doing that. So, you're a vine. You're a vine on Jesus's proverbial vine stalk. Trust that the gardener of souls, the Father of heaven, knows what he's doing with his garden. Have a nice day.